So my name's Angela, I'm with Action Duchenne, and just to sort of start off with some of my experiences. So my son Jonathan, I lost him in 2015 now, but up to that point, he the last three years of his life, he lived at home, but we had a care package, and he was so with that care package, we were able to choose our own carers, and you know it's and actually he was choosing them, and we had an agency. Now we picked an agency so that if somebody was off sick or something, then we could call the agency and said, you know, haul someone else in. It didn't always work that way. You know, no matter that we had a team of 8-9 carers, there was always a reason why somebody's not there. It's very difficult to organise your care package. But also, you, as parents, if it's in your home, you've got to get used to somebody outside coming into your house and actually living there, because so it's very difficult to have what I call strangers coming and living in your house. You know, using your facilities, your kitchen, your bathroom, everything like that. And also, because we had 24-hour care, we had to give up a bedroom for one of these carers. So he had someone at night being awake with him and someone asleep in case they needed assistance. I also, when I first started, everybody was bringing their own food and stuff, and I ended up with a fridge full of, you know, 8 pints of milk, and I thought this can't, you know, work like this. So I said, I did a deal with them. I said, I'll provide the milk, the tea, the coffee, the sugar, that sort of thing, because it takes up too much room. And I gave them shelves in the fridge so they could put their food, but I said, you just bring food for the time that you're here. You can't just load everything in there. And I mean, I literally wrote out a set of guidelines for what I expected them to do, because they were living in my house. You know, if they used my cutlery, my cups, etc., they washed them up and they put them back where they found them. It was a case of they went in rooms, turning off the electricity, you know, turning off the lights, because I just thought, you know, these young men, they all, you know, a lot of them use ventilators, they have feeding tubes, they have electric beds, profiling beds, they have electric mattresses, and it's a lot of things. So I made them be aware that actually turn off things, you know, and sometimes if they came out of a room and I just have to look at them and say, oh yes, I know, I'm sorry, I forgot. But although they took it seriously, they laughed at my guidelines, but it worked. It helped us get along with each other, you know, because otherwise you've got to think about it. They changed shifts twice a day, so very often we had somebody coming in at 8 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock at night. And it was like a bit like a revolving door, people coming in and out and doing food and stuff like that. It was quite difficult. And even things like Christmas, you think, well, they're still there working at Christmas. So basically, I just used to invite them to Christmas and said, you know, you're part of our family on Christmas Day. You know, so we bought them a present, you know, just something little, just to make them feel included, really, because carers, you know, they're human beings like us, really, and you need to get on with them, I think. You know, at the end of the day, if you're not there talking to your son, then they are. They become their friend. Hopefully they become their friends, their buddies. They need people to be able to interact with, talk to, and chat to. Anyway, so that's just a bit of my experience with care. So I'll now leave it over to you three. So if you'd like to introduce yourselves and then talk about your experiences. Okay, thank you.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
I'll go up to the camera. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to introduce myself. So my name's Luke Millington, and I'm currently a patient engagement specialist at PTC Therapeutics. I started as an intern in 2020, and recently in the year 2021 2021, I was offered the full-time position. So I've been working alongside some of the people in this room today, and I've been working on a project to understand the key challenges for young adults and teenagers with DMD and faced during the transition. So I've got some of my experiences and a few experiences of people that we found out during the transition project. So I'm going to go over a bit of my experience first. So overall, my experience of the transition process is that it's very good. I have all of the facilities in one place. So when I attend my hospital appointments, I see my cardiologist, and my respiratory doctors, and speak to all of the specialists there, which saves travel time and so on. Because when I was a younger child, I had to go to Birmingham and so on, so it could be quite intensive. So I had to come out of school and so on. We also during my hospital appointments, I also have a psychologist if I need them at this at the Robert Jones Angus Hunt Orthopaedic Hospital, and so on. So we also did a bit of I want to go over a bit of the research as well that we've done for the transition project. So we currently know that the transition is a very hot topic, and our project was interested in understanding the gaps and the experiences of young adults and teenagers today. And we also had got the experiences from the young adults living with DMD as well. We know that there's currently a lot of research in the hospital and so on. And I've also got some examples of advocacy groups with different initiatives. So Action Duchenne doing the Yes I Can, which is empowering young adults. They got Pathfinders, Neuromuscular Alliance is doing transition to adulthood, and Duchenne UK have a family folder. So some of our main questions were, what does the teenager, young adult and caregiver experience of transition look like today? We also had another question, how can the teenager, young adult advocate for themselves to enable independence, and so on. I don't know if any of you guys want any input?
Yeah. Firstly, I want to apologise for interrupting the 2-minute silence. Sorry about that. My name is Ravi. I work for Action Duchenne, and I lead the project on the Yes I Can sessions and working on the residential weekends that we currently do to take young people away to adventure accessible centres like Calvert Trust, for example. So this is what I've been working with on Action Duchenne. I can see some familiar faces on the sessions that we kind of do every 2 weeks. So it's great to see some of you here. Yeah, so it was, our sessions have been really essential to young people to learn about the skills that they want to know when they are past the transition age of over 18. So, we're doing things like how to get a job, how to be independent, and how to go abroad on holiday, for example. So it's been really valuable. We've had positive feedback from everybody that has really thought the Yes I Can project has really helped them to think about their future and which way they want to go to get the most out of their life. We also do residential weekends, like I mentioned. So we've done 2 weekends in July and August, just gone, and we've taken 6 people with Duchenne, ranging from 16 to 22 years old. We've taken them away to Devon. They've been doing accessible and venture activities like zip wire, abseiling, even how to make a fire in the woods if, so it's been they've really had a good time, everyone. They've all made new friends, which is one of the main things we're really hoping to get out of it. So, some of them are going to university, so they're trying to set up a time to go to the pub and have a few drinks. So, this is what we want, kind of them to do normal activities regardless of what disabilities they have. In terms of care, it's been quite difficult for me. For the past 20 years, I've been living in my living room because I have no adaptations at home. So in terms of care, for me it's had to be a lot of compromises because of my issues that I have at home. So, things like having privacy, things like having my own time, it's been very difficult. So for me, having care has been just compromising on things that I should have, which is kind of difficult at the moment. So, finding the right people to, help me at home, can be difficult, and, few and far between. We do get good carers, but as people know, who employ carers, they're not always, it doesn't always work out, let's say. So, I've had people who have provided care for me, but then all of a sudden they leave the job, no notice, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I think a lot of people who employ carers may kind of understand what I'm talking about. So it can be quite difficult, but when you get a good carer, it's all about doing whatever you can to make sure they stay with you. So sometimes, I know people who pay out of their pocket to make sure that they, feel like they can stay, make sure they have a good time, make sure that, you become friends. But some people, because of their personal situation, they get quite stressed, have a lot of anxiety. So sometimes they'll do whatever they can to, keep their carers. So for me, that's kind of what I kind of do a lot of, just making sure that I keep them no matter what they do. So, maybe it's a bit different to other people's experience, but, at least they're helping me get independence, helping me to go to university like 15 years ago, quite a long time. But, they've helped me to get a job, they've helped me to socialize, so that's what carers are for, to help you get the most out of life. So that's the main thing that I always think about. I'll now pass it on to James.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm James Parkin, and I run a YouTube channel called James Parkin Living Life DMD Style. So basically, with this channel, which I've been running for about a year, I basically do videos of like my life, like what activities I do, what like tips and advice, and basically to try and use what knowledge I've gained of DMD to try and help others and myself. And also some of the videos I'll talk about the equipment that I use, such as ventilators, cough assist, and basically just try to document what I'm doing to show that you can go out and about and pretty much live the best life you can, even with the condition. And I'm 29 now, so I think it's really important to show people, especially parents that have got kids that are younger, you can still have a really good life, and the disability is just something which is there, but you can deal with it, and if they see someone else doing it, it might help. But also, with this channel, I also do a lot of freelance work for some of the DMD organisations, such as Action Duchenne. I've also contributed to Pathfinders, Neuromuscular Alliance, and I've also done, at the moment, I'm currently being involved in a project with York University, which is about understanding like adults with neuromuscular conditions and what social care means to them. So that is currently ongoing. As for the care side, it's basically a journey that started about 13 years ago when I went to college. So I went to Harewood College, which is in Coventry, and I lived there for 2 years. And in 2013, when I was leaving college, I basically sat down with my mum, who's here today, and basically we sat down and said, I spent 2 years at college. I don't want my mum doing my care anymore. I want to have a proper son and mum relationship rather than a carer. So we both sat down and basically put us a team at social worker, saying James has learnt all these skills at college, and it'd just feel like a waste if I didn't have carers. So that's what we did, and the care package was sorted out. So I have a care agency that I use, and I've been quite fortunate because I've still have the same care agency now, but it does have its ups and downs. Like I said earlier, you go through lots of carers. You have some good ones. You have some ones that aren't the best. But also you have some which you develop a good bond and like friendship with. And I was fortunate to have one person who stuck with me for about 10 years overall. And in that time I was able to do all sorts of things with a bit of arrangement. So a season ticket holder at football at Leeds. And I've been to Wembley lots of times to see American football. I've been to a lot of concerts over the years, and couple of months ago, I went on holiday with the carers, just me and 2 carers, to the Lake District, and I organised it all myself. Found the accommodation, arranged with the 2 people that went with me, and basically, for the first time, went away without anyone from my family there. And that felt great, being able to do that, but I wouldn't have been able to do that without support of my carers. At home, about a decade ago, I lost my brother, and he had DMD, and that was really tough. But in that, since that, then I always wanted to live my life like 2 people, so having the support was essential in doing that. They have a room which they use, the carers, which have got things like kettle and tea and coffee, and a television, in case if I want time, just myself. So try and provide the best facilities that we can, and just so that they're comfortable enough. As for managing, it's using a care agency is quite handy because I don't have to have stress in searching for people. That the agency can do that, and they introduce people to me, and usually a couple of trial shifts where they shadow someone or short, just to see what they're like, and then I decide if they're okay or not. And I've had a few people I've said that I'm not particularly keen on, but a lot of them I've been quite pleased with, and it's, I probably won't be where I am without it. But also managing things. My mum does a lot to help with paperwork and things, and recently it's been quite tough since lockdowns have finished, and basically I've restricted care then. But the past year it's been difficult around the whole care industry, just recruiting people in general to do it. It's a national shortage. So the last few months, mum's ends up helping, like giving up her time to help, which has been really important. But hopefully it's a temporary thing and things will get better. But apart from that, I've not really had a bad experience. I know people have. I've got had a lot worse experience, but I'm quite fortunate. But it's important to let people know what options are out there. Yeah, thank you.
Has anybody got any questions they'd like to ask the panel? Anything from the panel they'd like to add?
I don't think so.
Sorry?
I don't think so. If you want to start more, I can.
Well, I'd just like to say, we're talking about carers and having it, and going on holiday with your carers. It works the same way. If you've got carers that you trust, then hopefully your carers get a chance to go on holiday. I mean, we did that. We had been on holiday on our own 10 years or so. And I said to my son, I said, could we go on holiday? You know, do you trust your carers to look after you? Oh yes, that's fine, you go. And you know, and I think that's lovely to be able to do that, so that either you can go on holiday with them or go out with them without your parents, and vice versa, that the parents can, you know, have the opportunity to go out.
Yeah, and also, sorry, James. Also, just on what Angela said, sometimes it can cause some strain, strain on your relationship with your parents or your siblings that sometimes, you know, you don't often see. So, you know, sometimes it can affect my relationship with my mum, because there's always people coming in and out, and you know, sometimes she wants a bit of, you know, family time, and sometimes it's hard to do that when there's always people coming in and out, and you know, sometimes it can cause arguments, and you know, that side that you don't really, it shouldn't really be happening. But again, like I said, sometimes, you know, to have that care, some things you may not want to happen can happen. But you know, I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm just saying there's the other side where it's very hard to manage that, you know, with family members around, and you know, trying to be independent. So yeah, that's just what I want to add.
I think I agree with Ravi in the aspect that I've kind of been lucky that I've had the opportunity to use a hospice, a children's hospice. So my mum and dad can go away abroad when in that situation. But I think that once that's gone, once the children's hospice, because a lot of the hospices only run up until a certain age, so, and then they you have to leave because obviously they don't have the facilities to keep you there. And I think for me that's going to be a worry when I need to travel. If my mum and dad want to go on holiday, when is the who am I going to be able to get to support me? Because you can't just have one carer, obviously, because obviously one carer can't just do all your care 24/7. And apart from that, that's it.
I'm just going to say for information, I'm sure Mark told you what they did on holiday. They went to this facility in, I think it was North Brabant in the Netherlands, and it was very well equipped for the needs of boys, and enabled them to have a good holiday. Plenty of information would come their way, their experiences and so on. It's an alternative. I don't know what the equivalents in this country are like. They've never felt drawn to them, but in Holland they've been to two areas of Holland. One in Groningen, which was just a sort of basic thing, but it suited Thomas, my grandson, at his then stage. But this year, when he's in a wheelchair, apparently they have wonderful facilities.
I think that's right. You know, I've been to places in Netherlands
Yeah,
which
it's
have been totally
pretty well.
geared up.
Yes.
And you don't need to take. You just arrive and everything's there for you.
It
That's
is,
just,
yes.
That's just really helpful, especially, you know, in this day and age when we are having problems recruiting carers full time, or carers that we can rely on. You know, you need to have something like that so you can have a good family holiday.
They did.
Mm. No, it's lovely.
Went to football matches, you know, and
Lovely.
other sort of things in Belgium as well.
Yeah, no,
nowhere's very far.
No, it's quite
Yes.
easy to get to, isn't it? Kathy?
We're sort of just getting into the, problems recruiting carers and needing carers much more. What happens if, like, a carer's ill or they don't turn up? What sort of backup do you have? I say that as a mum who tends to be backup. What the alternative
stops.
I think that's the answer.
I think in my answer would be, I used to have an agency, which was often not able to cater for that, so it often had to be my mum would have to have time off, or my dad, but because they worked full time as well, it was like they'd have to drop everything, and that could be very very annoying, and it happened on a regular basis, so it was like that they had to like stop everything and then come and watch me and look after me and do stuff like that, and then I kind of went to a PA, which was a lot easier, and you've got that and also the only other problem with having an agency, when you get the if there is someone that you don't regularly have, you might not feel comfortable with that person as well. And I always had a bit, not an issue, but I didn't like having a female carer as such, for personal care and showering, because it's quite a personal thing, and I think for a lot of younger lads, having a female, like say my age, like 25, could be quite daunting. So sometimes when you have an agency, they like send anyone that might not know your care needs, which can be quite scary. And then I moved to a PA, which is good, but I would definitely recommend having a team around you just in case, because you never know. Like my carer had COVID, so obviously he couldn't be there for a week, and while he was isolating, so that's the other difficulty.
So what happened during that week?
My mum and dad kind of had to. Luckily, my mum and dad can work from home.
I think, the same is quite difficult maybe on the mental side when your agency tells you, oh, we've got nobody, so your choice is you go to hospital, we'll get ambulance for you, or your parents have to work. So this is what happens a lot with agencies. They'll just say, okay, it's up to you now. We'll just leave it to you when, if your parents got their own medical conditions, or they're not able to physically help you, it can really, drain you quite a lot. So, it's something that shouldn't be happening, but, at the moment, with it being so bad to recruit any carers due to the pandemic and cost of living or whatever reasons, it can be really difficult to, manage that.
I think also, if you do have an agency, it is important to have a pool of carers of 5 or 6. Like with me, I have 5 or 6 carers that will come to me. So one of them 5 or 6, I know will be there if needed. So when things don't go to balance one, ring is sick, especially recently. Mum's had to help, she works full time, but also the it's been a case of give or take, but generally I know the agency I use is quite a personal agency. It's not a national agency. It's very local. So I can be in contact with the person who runs the agency. It's that personal, so that worked for me because I knew that one of them, a few people would be here, and if it got to a situation where a new person might have to come, I was made aware of it. Maybe the day before, or a couple of days, so if someone had rang in sick or left all of a sudden, then I'd know about that there may be someone new coming. But I was made aware so I could prepare for it. So generally I think, because sometimes there's always going to be someone new at some point. But at some stage you will be meeting someone for the first time and they'll be doing care for you. And that's sometimes the way to think about it. Everyone's new at some point. And sometimes that could be the person that may stick around for a while. So it's best thing to try and be as relaxed as you can, or with an open mind when there's new people.
I think also, when new people come in with me and a lot of people I speak to through Action Duchenne, they always suffer with anxiety, stress. Sometimes it's so difficult for them to cope. The parents have to come and talk to them and calm them down. So there's a lot of people suffering a lot of anxiety when things don't go according to plan. So this is the other thing that a lot of people suffer with.
I think that's right. And I think that's another reason why, having at least a few of the care team that you can actually talk to, one-to-one, and actually they understand where you're coming from. Because sometimes some of your anxieties or issues, you don't necessarily want to share with your parents because you don't want to worry your parents. So actually, if one of the care team does become a friend and someone you can talk to, it's somebody else other than your parents that you can talk to.
There was a question at the back.
Hello, my name's Claire and I've got two sons with Duchenne. So I've got Jack who's 22 and Tom who's 19. So I've got a broad experience of care. So my eldest son is living away from home at university and he uses a service called Ask Jules. So the beauty of that is a bit like an agency, but Jack has actually interviewed and he is the employer of his staff. They help to do all the payroll, all the headaches that I do for my brother. So if anybody's off sick, he's currently got a core team of 3 male carers, and then he's got bank staff that he's had experience with in the past. And I can hand on heart, it's been amazing for Jack. One of the plus things in the family that I will share is I kind of think for Jack, because he accessed local authority home care as a child, I think that gave him the confidence to work with people managing their care. On the flip side, I've got Tom, who's 19, who's a bit more tricky, who's living at home. So we have a direct payment. So we have a bit of a mixture. So we have a care agency for an hour, Monday to Friday, and he has a team of 6 ladies. They've all got nicknames, which is Tom all over. And then we just get 15 hours of a personal assistant. 20, so she's one of them. And then the other one took me, we had a really good neighbour round the corner, literally walking distance from the house. And then her husband got a job, so they relocated. And it took me 6 months to recruit Leo. And I've now got, which is hilarious, his reception school teacher's husband, and I've landed on my feet because his background is learning disability, and he absolutely loves football, which is so it is a bumpy journey, but when you get the right people, it can work really well. But it's really hard trying to get people. And for example, with my PAs, I can only pay them £9.50, which is ridiculous. But because Jack uses us juniors, his staff are on £15 an hour. So how do you justify? I don't really know, but those are some of the challenges. But I can honestly say, Jack's living the dream.
I think that's half of the problem, isn't it? You know, how do you recruit staff when you're limited to paying a minimum wage, when agencies or other places are paying much more?
And
You just can't compete with that.
And the recruiting of staff, I have a payroll provider, I asked them to recruit, to be honest, because I actually went to something half term with Tom, and it was about developing skills at college for looking at work. So I went in the search engine and put carer music, and up top popped Tom's advert, and I looked at it and I thought, oh, that's not right. How on earth would you go for that job at £9.50?
I think it's a lot of credit to you for getting them in the right mindset to when there's time for them to be independent. They've got the skills to overcome any difficulties that may arise.
I think one important thing is when the decision comes for to recruit, with carers, basically, deciding what, going to like social work or decide hours and things, is keep pushing, don't accept anything less than what you really want, because authorities like that will do whatever they can to save as much money as they can. Or if you accept less than what you want, then then you, like social workers or funding, they'll not provide anything. Most you've got to really be on your toes and push for until you've got what you want. I think because otherwise, because to the council, for like funding people, it's the main thing they're bothered about is the budget. They don't know you personally, so you got to really push, and that's what lawyers had, like push for whatever until you've got what you want.
Yeah, and just very quickly, realistically, we know it's all about funding, it's all about the finance, which is why they're trying to cut everything they can. But like James said, you've got to know your rights, know what the law is, know what the loopholes are. I've got friends who read every single guideline, so they're prepared for anything that the CCG or social services try and tell them, so they know that, if they're breaking the law or, not giving them the rights they need, they know how to fight back. Thank you.
Thank you very much.